Hexenturm was called Wegtuermle, wayside tower, and in the 19th century it was also called Buergerturm, citizens' tower. Between 1838 and 1880 the half-timbered storey was used as a prison for the citizens of the town. It was probably called Witch's Tower when at the beginning of the 20th century a paper was published which described witches' trials in Moeckmuehl and stated that in 1655 a woman accused of being a witch was imprisoned in the tower. The dungeon was built for people sentenced by the Centgericht, High Court. It was 5 meters deep and had been filled and went out of use. Between the years of 1449 to 1779, the tower was used to look out for enemies and it served to alert the town in case of fires in the area. The name Hexenturm, Witch Tower, emerged from locals only since the year 1900 due to the town's history with witch hunts during the late 1600s. In 1678, the Hexenturm was made a prison with 14 cells and a flat for the prison guard, which persecution was not a very common phenomenon in Salzburg, but a strangely lasting one. It climaxed under Prince Archbishop Max Gandalf von Quenberg. There were instances of torture, executions and waves of mass persecution especially among poor and homeless teenagers. The most famous case was the Buergerturm trial that led to the execution of dozens of young vagabonds. The main suspect, a boy called Jacob Kohler from the village of Moderndorf, could escape the execution on the stake. Some 160 members of his supposed wizard gang were less fortunate. Allegedly, suspects of witchcraft were kept in the Hexenturm in copper kettles to neutralize their magic powers. The Hexenturm was then decorated with an iron woman riding a stick, a piece of art that you can now see in the Festungsmuseum, Fortress Museum. The Buergerturm trial is still seen as a particularly dark hour in the history of Salzburg. The obsession with witchcraft did not end with this case, though. As late as in 1750, a 16-year-old girl was killed on grounds of witchcraft, causing a public outcry in much of the Western world. It was one of the last witch trials in Europe. Meanwhile, the Hexenturm with tower had been converted into a storage facility in 1706. It first housed gunpowder and arms, later building material, later still it was reconverted into a prison. In 1804, the public sold the Hexenturm tower to a private individual. Between 1897 and 1910 it was used as a storage facility for the company Joseph Anton Zizi. Its end came with the Salzburg air raids of 1944. Please like and subscribe if you like my video.